Gentlemen, a very warm welcome to Addis dialogue. Now, Ethiopia and China have already established an all-weather strategic partnership, marking a significant enhancement in their bilateral ties. And this partnership signifies that the friendship between the two sisterly countries remain steadfast in the face of diverse issues as well as external interference and circumstances. And we're going to delve into all this. And joining me here in the studio to talk about all this is Peichun Li. He is the Deputy Bureau Chief of CMG Africa. I am your host, Shifarao Lago. Do stay with us. Mr. Li, thank you so much for coming to our studio and for joining me.
Yes, Salam Shifero. I'm very happy to be here at your beautiful studio.
Thank you so much. I'm so glad and excited to see you as well, sir. So, as I said in my intro, the friendship between Ethiopia and China, your great nation, is really based on mutual respect and understanding, and the two countries have already established all-weather strategic partnership. In this regard, where do you see the friendship between the two countries going, and what significance does Ethiopia hold for your country, China?
Okay, let me start with what average people in China know about Ethiopia.
Please do.
And I think I have to like to go back to about 40 years ago when I was still a high school student.
Okay.
In our history textbooks, it says Ethiopia is a country, if not the only one in Africa, that avoided colonial rule.
Wow.
So Chinese people have deep respect for the people of Ethiopia. We salute you for your success in maintaining your independence over the years. And I've been to Addis Ababa for a few times already, and I've come to know there is a street called Ethio-Chinese Street, and you could feel the friendship that had been extended between the two countries. I understand official relations between our two countries were established back in 1970. And as you have just said, the two countries elevated the relationship to the all-weather strategic partnership. And it marks really a new stage for the bilateral ties. And Ethiopia over the years has been an active participant in the BRI, Belt and Road Initiative.
Yes. And
in that, the two countries have collaborated really extensively. And if I may, I can list the expansion of the Bole International Airport. And also we have the railway linking Addis Ababa and Djibouti.
Yes.
And also I haven't taken it, the light rail in Addis, but I think on this trip I'm going to try it.
I think
the light rail that has been under use in the country, and also the first industrial park. I think Chinese businesses have also been involved in in building it, as well as the tallest building in East Africa, the CBE Tower. So all these have shown the fruits of bilateral collaboration, and I think we have good reasons to put forward the cooperative efforts, and we can expand to even further in the fields of agriculture, digital infrastructure alike. And I think when it comes to people-to-people exchange, we have to make the best use of the non-stop flight between Beijing and Addis Ababa. And we have to invite more Chinese people to come over to take a look at the Ethiopia, the food in Jeddah, as well as, to taste the coffee. This is the land of coffee, as well as the enjoy the beautiful sceneries here in the different parts of Ethiopia.
Exactly. So obviously, you know, as you eloquently put it, the friendship between the two countries is visible everywhere, be it in terms of infrastructure, technology, and things like that. And as you touched upon it, Ethiopia is also going through different change, transformation. Let's also take some time and, if you've observed, talk about some of the transformations that Ethiopia is going through. So have you noticed some of the transformations that this East African nation is going through, and how ready is China in order to sustain and help, you know, beef up this transformation, change efforts that this East African nation is going through?
Yeah. I'm based in Kenya, and I study the African issues.
Okay.
And I've come to know that the homegrown economic reform program is underway in the country.
Yes.
You know what? For the past 40 years, Chinese people have witnessed the changes of China because of the economic reforms that started in 1979. So Chinese people are in the best position to know how significant, how important economic reforms mean to the world, to the livelihood of the people, as well as to the status of the country. So again, we appreciate the reform launched by the government, and we believe it's because it was generated out of the will of the government and the people here. So it represents, it's a good example of African countries in trying to reform its system economically so as to build to achieve a better wealth. So we really are impressed by the efforts made by the government and the people here. We would like to be part of it, and I think China has been taken an active part in contributing to the efforts here. And given the path that we have walked through, we can share with Ethiopia the experience and even some setbacks that we have experienced over the years in terms of launching the special economic zones, developing township enterprises, as well as, you know, in many other areas under the framework of bilateral arrangement, under the framework of Global South mechanism.
Yes, sir.
So we have a lot of opportunities to share the experience in governance and the like. And also, I think we can do a lot of things in terms of infrastructure projects as well as exchanges between the people. I mean, over the years, we have launched the so-called Luban workshop, where robotics, among other subjects, are taught to local students, and the Chinese government has offered scholarships to young Ethiopians to study in China. When it comes to digital infrastructure, I understand the Chinese businesses are taking an active part in the development of the comprehensive zone along the Ethiopia, Addis and Djibouti railway, and also the installation of 4G network. We strongly support the government's green initiative as well, and the Adamu wind power station, as well as Giba 3 hydropower dam station have been constructed to serve the energy needs of the Ethiopian people.
Yes, yes. So obviously the support is visible still. I mean, when it comes to the transformations that Ethiopia is going through. So China is obviously helping, supporting Ethiopia in different areas, for which we are really grateful. Let's come to your country, and I've learned that China is now in its political season with the 2 sessions already completed by now. So what exactly do the 2 sessions refer to, and how important are they for the Chinese people?
Okay, the two sessions, every year in the first half of March is the highly important political season in China because of the so-called two sessions.
Okay.
About 3,000 national legislators or deputies to the National People's Congress come to Beijing to study and to deliberate on what the future will hold for China in the coming year.
Okay.
They will identify development priorities and strategies and set targets for the coming year. So this is the yearly legislative session. And at the same time, another 2,200, probably about 2,200 national advisors are gathered also in Beijing to give advice, to offer advice to the development blueprint for the year. Mm-hmm. So they are collectively called two sessions. They are important, as I said. They decide on the development priorities mm-hmm. for the coming year. So both journalists from China and abroad, every year 2,000, 3,000 of them come to cover it. Among other things, the targets as well as policies set during the two sessions. That's why it draws a lot of attention from the media. This year, the major targets, the first and foremost is the GDP growth rate. The government has set it at 5%. And this is exactly the same rate as last year. This is one thing. And when it comes to unemployment, the government is pledging to keep it under 5.5%, while at the same time creating 12 million job opportunities, especially for young graduates. That's roughly the same number of graduates to be this year. 12 million college students will graduate this year.
Among the proposed targets, the government has set an economic growth rate of 5%. However, some media outlets, especially those in the West, mm-hmm. are questioning its feasibility. Mm-hmm. So is this target feasible in the first place?
Mm-hmm. Chinese people believe this is attainable, this is feasible. And of course, we understand the doubts that other media or other countries have because of the rampant, if I may use the word, rampant unilateralism and protectionism, trade war, tariffs are imposed. As well as geopolitical tensions that have served to damage the supply chain. So all these factors, work together to dampen the optimism of world media or a lot of media or economists about the prospect of the world economy. But when it comes to China, we believe this is a reasonable and feasible target. Actually, last year it was set at the same level, and according to the National Bureau of Statistics, we achieved it, and we also we base our confidence in terms of at least three factors. Number one, the expansion of market. Domestically, we are trying to expand domestic consumption. But if you check what's happened during the New Year festival, so many people traveled around in China. The number of people using the roads and railways, the potential of domestic consumption is there. And I suggest you check pictures online showing the scenic spots, how many people are crowding in scenic spots, So the domestic potential of the market is there. And also internationally, we have, over the years, we have worked together well with countries like Ethiopia, countries in Asia, in Latin America. The good relations between China and those countries also serve to promote trade. And investment, and we're looking forward to better ties, trade ties, closer ties with even Europe as well. So market-wise, that's possible, and also, if I may go back to the domestic picture, the urbanization rate in China is 60%. It's much higher than 10 years ago, 20 years ago. But still, compared with more advanced countries, the urbanization rate is still not enough. We have yet to develop townships or rural areas. So that's another driver for economic growth in the country. And then the new productive forces. I'm coming to the second factor.
Okay.
New productive forces, as are known in China, refer to new technologies led by artificial intelligence. According to the government work report launched at the recent 2 sessions, AI technologies are encouraged to be further used in manufacturing to increase the quality of products as well as the productivity. So that's another factor we believe could facilitate economic growth. And finally, I would mention the policy guidance. This is a market economy. I'm not saying the government is controlling the economy, but the government guidance is very important. Guidance in terms of financial directives. For example, according to the government work report, it's going to launch loans at the national level as well as at the provincial level, so as to generate more demands in terms of infrastructure. So all these, it's not going to be easy. It's a complicated issue, but all these give us courage that we are going to achieve the goal as we did last year.
Whenever we talk about China, one of the things that comes to the fore is its technological advancement and breakthrough. Could you give me an overview of some of the major and amazing technological advancements and breakthroughs that China achieved, of course, including DeepSeek?
Oh, you mentioned it. DeepSeek is really recently has sent a shockwave to the world when it was first launched back in January. For our Ethiopian audience, DeepSeek is the artificial intelligence app or software that is used to it works like a computer human being. It's you can ask questions, he can answer your questions, he can help you to write essays, write articles, and he can also do translation. And it was the reason why I said it caused a stir in the world, because it was as powerful as ChatGPT, and but it cost less. Only $6 million was used to train the language model. Yeah, it's much cheaper as opposed to $100 million used for ChatGPT, and also it's open. Technically, it's called open source. It means users can and it's free for users. The fact that it's open source means that it's win-win. It's win-win.
And also accessible to everybody.
And also it helps to promote the upgrading of the technology involved. So it's good for both the developer and users. And actually, I said just now, it can help you write articles. Actually, yesterday, I tried to ask it to write an article in Amharic. How important is AI in the national development of Ethiopia? And in 10 seconds, or 5 to 10 seconds, a long story was presented to me.
Wow.
I didn't understand Amharic, but given my experience in asking him to do the same assignments in Kiswahili, in English, I could understand it. It did it beautifully. It gave me a lot of information. I'm not sure if the answer in Amharic is good or not, but I suggest you can go and check.
Yes,
so it's alarming. It's so helpful in our, at least for average people, in our daily life, daily studies, and I'm sure it has even further functions in terms of economic development. So we can try it. So this is DeepSeek. And in terms of major technological breakthroughs or achievements that have been witnessed in China, I would also like to mention robotics, as well as EV, electronic vehicle.
Yes.
And BYD, the Chinese EV maker, has surpassed Tesla in terms of production in the fourth quarter of last year.
Wow.
And in terms of solar panels, I'm sure they are used in a lot of African countries as well. Solar panels made in China take up the about 80 to 90% of the global market share. And according to projections by specialists, about 60 or to 70% of solar energy will be generated. The 60-70% of the world solar energy will be generated in China by 2028.
Wow.
And also drones. Consumer-used drones developed by another Chinese company called DJI. It now takes up the 60% of the market as well.
Wow.
So I'm saying Chinese people have really done a good job in terms of technological innovation. In the past years, several years, we have come to realize we have to depend on ourselves, given the sanctions or restrictions of the access to major technologies by Western countries. So it has served as a wake-up call to us. We have to launch our new products, and that's why over the years the government and private sectors as well have invested heavily in technological innovation, including DeepSeek.
Yes. Ethiopia is also emulating some of the experiences that China is going through, and it's working on developing its own technology innovation. In this regard, how committed is China to help Ethiopia advance in its technology and innovation?
I think first and foremost, the political will is very important, and also people have come to see the collaboration, the benefits of technological collaboration between the two countries. So I think there is a big potential for us to work together. And during the recent AU summit, Prime Minister of Ethiopia, Abiy Ahmed, delivered an address at the summit, and I've read it through, and one of the remarks he summarizes I'm very impressed by what he said. He said African countries should take an active part in the technological race of the world, so that we can also be active players, competitive players in the evolving digital landscape. And I think on many other occasions, the Prime Minister has also stressed the importance of artificial intelligence in terms of national development. And I think this sentiment has been echoed by Chinese leaders as well, including the recent remark made by the Chinese Foreign Minister Wang Yi at the recent Two Sessions meeting. And Mr. Wang Yi is also a member of the political bureau of the Communist Party of China. He said, Africa is the land of hope in the 21st century. Without the modernization, without the industrialization of Africa, don't talk about the modernization of the world. Africa should be part of it. And this is what he said, and this is also what China wants to translate into reality, into concrete action. So given the political will, and I'm sure the two countries will work together in terms of sharing of technological application.
The other area of cooperation is media. You know, the CGTN, EBC have already begun this, which is really appreciable. So how should the cooperation between China and Ethiopia, when it comes to the media outlets, continue in the future in a strengthened and a more robust manner?
We could also, or we need to develop strategic partnership as well between the media companies of the two countries. I mean, so as to for the two peoples to understand each other very well. I think at least we can do content sharing as well as co-production as we did in the past. I mean, the recent airing of China's Spring Festival Gala on EBC, I think it is a good example. I mean, the Spring Festival marks the advent of the new year in China. That's the most important holiday in China. And every year our company holds a TV variety show that's been there for 40 years. And that's part of the celebrations of the Chinese people. Or part of is one way of Chinese people to welcome the new year and watch the TV show, which is complete with singing and dancing, acrobatics, kung fu.
It was amazing, by the way.
So it's good for Ethiopian people to know about China. And when it comes to co-production, the joint dialogue show between EBC and CGTN, which is under CMG, is, you know, we work together to study the future of Africa to cope with the convening of the yearly AU summit. It's also another way of us caring about the future of African countries, to study what African countries are faced with in terms of challenges and opportunities. So there's a big room for us to work together, and we are looking forward to more work of this type in the coming year or years.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Li, thank you so much for coming here to our studio and giving us this wonderful idea. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm second now. Thank you for bringing me over to your studio.
Yes, sir, absolutely. Well, ladies and gentlemen, with that, we come to the end of today's program. Many thanks to you as well for having been with us so far. Until I see you next time with yet another program, it's a goodbye from me, Shifara Olako. Take care and stay safe.